What's worth it in the shop and the auction? Should you buy something or should you save your gold for later? Or if you need gold, what's the best way to get it? Let's have a look. This is the shop review. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's go. Starting in the offers tab, there is a little gift right there that you can claim for another 2 days, 5 days of premium, 500,000 gold, and a tier 5, and it is completely free, so simply just claim it. It is definitely worth getting, so log in if you haven't. Now, these boxes are a great choice to get yourself some gold that you can spend throughout the year on useful premium vehicles, so I can recommend the boxes if you are looking for pure gold. And then obviously all these draws and keys here, you shouldn't buy them. Keys are even worse than crates, so don't buy them at all. Same goes for all of these container collections that are just absolutely awful, that you should never ever buy, because the only thing they will lose is sanity, money, and dignity. The resource section this time offers a lot of gold boosters with its bundles 8.5k and 200, for example, in this one. These are decent if you need gold. If you don't need gold, don't buy it, obviously, so there isn't anything for it and there isn't anything against it either. However, there is something against buying credits for gold, because that is terrible value in most cases. However, something like this, especially if you're grinding a tech tree, 75 times 5 XP is basically 2 full tech trees to grind through. If you need that, this is something that you should aim for. And for all of you that are low on credits, I can highly recommend playing fun modes such as Big Boss, Burning Games, and Gravitizing. Basically all of those with special abilities that allow you to do higher damage quicker. Because obviously if you do higher damage and you do it quicker, you can make a lot more credits from that. Because obviously, if you end up a standard battle with 2,000 damage, it's a huge difference to when you end up a big boss battle with 10,000 damage. You are going to get a lot more credits out of those fun modes. And also, they're a lot more fun than standard battles anyway. So if you are running low on credits, highly recommend playing the fun modes. Especially things like, unfortunately, the real Uprising isn't here, but Gravitizing's gotta do. But especially Uprising and also Big Boss are great for earning a lot of credits. And then we get into the tank section, and we start off with 1,450 gold and a couple of boosters, because that's how much you can sell the A32 for. 1,400 for €5 is a terrible deal, so I wouldn't buy this thing whatsoever. T95E2, I do think it is in its current form overpriced, and these times 5 XP only apply to the vehicle, which is not good. Locked times 5s are essentially useless and force you to buy more to convert your elite XP into free XP. So these are terrible. And then the vehicle overall, it's very mediocre. It isn't the most terrible of vehicles out there. It obviously has abysmal penetration at only 180, but there are worse vehicles out there. For example, like the STG, but more on that later. And then the Brothers in Arms, they're low tier vehicles. You can sell the M3 Light and the Panzer 38 for about 800 gold each, but definitely don't buy them. This is a terrible deal. Now, it does have 30 unlocked times 5s, but obviously in the resource section, there are better bundles that sell you actual good stuff with your times 5 XPs. And then the Alpha Predator certificate, again, don't buy it. If it describes itself as an alpha, it's terrible. And then the two comrades are, well, terrible, because the T2020 has been left in the dust a long time ago, and even though it did get buffed, it gets overshadowed still by vehicles such as the Object 25TU and Type 57, so I don't recommend this vehicle at all. And the T54 First Prototype is still a vehicle left over from a time where medium tanks especially still had the same alpha damage for their premium rounds, which means that when the standard penetration was terrible, you could simply switch to the premium round at no cost whatsoever. But now, when medium tanks have less damage on their premium rounds, switching to the premium round is a direct punishment to any medium tank player. So having a medium tank with terrible standard penetration is essentially a hard nerf to any vehicle like that. So yeah, it's not good. And it should be balanced. There should not be a single tier 8 vehicle with under 200 mils of penetration. And any tank like that shouldn't be bought in the first place. And then the AMX-30B, the terrible child between the Leopard and the STB, meaning that it can't do hull down like the STB and doesn't have a gun as good as the Leopard, basically. So, yeah, do you want this vehicle? I don't know, but 15k is a decent price for it. If you always wanted this vehicle for some reason, then it's worth picking up. But other than that, the STB and the Leopard are uniquely better at what they're doing. So you sort of get a middle piece that is sort of not good at either of the two things. It's a decent average package though, so if you want to get it, otherwise I'm not going to directly recommend for or against it. And then I've already made fun of the Fire and Ice and the Fearless Germans in previous shop reviews plenty enough times, which means that don't buy them, they're all horrible. It's just not worth it. And if the Alpha Predator certificate isn't dumb enough, there is also now a Alpha Predator draw in which you can gamble for gambling, because the majority of the rewards here are gambling crates, which is like, you can draw, you can gamble on gambling, which is just terrible. So do not do this under any circumstance, and just stay away from predatory stuff like this, because it even says it itself. It's a predator. It's a wallet predator and nothing else, so you will lose money and you will lose sanity. Do not buy things like this whatsoever. And there is also obviously this garage party still going where you have to buy the terrible party keys, and the vehicles in these things are not worth anything because you have to buy a significant amount of keys to even have a chance to get them. So stay away from this at all costs. It's just another terrible, terrible gambling event aimed at siphoning your money out of your wallet that you should spend on way more better and useful things. And then there's also this thing that you can play if you have all of your rewards. I mean, why wouldn't you? It's a free thing. Free things are always good. Play it. Now, the auction this time only has one good vehicle in it, and definitely isn't the Super Hellcat, because there is a way worse vehicle tier for tier than the tier 6 regular Hellcat, so stay away from that, and stay away from tier 7s in general, because all you do is less damage, less credits than a tier 8 for no benefit whatsoever. I mean, they're a lot cheaper, but you get a lot less in the long run. In the MX Defender, it's going to be gone by the time the video comes out, and I don't recommend it anyway, so that's a good thing. And the STG, some people call it the Russian Chimera. Those people are wrong, because the Chimera is actually good, whilst the STG is an absolute terrible disappointment that is good at absolutely nothing besides alpha damage. It has no DPM, it has no penetration, and it has no gun depression, and no armor either. So it's terrible. Don't buy it whatsoever. Wargaming should pay you to play this tank and nothing else. Then the HWK30 is an RU251 that is worse than the RU251, and spending 8,000 gold for that is quite a disappointing shame. And I will still continue to laugh at this thing until the end of time, because it is terrible and you should never ever buy it at all. And then the one good vehicle is the Type 57, a vehicle that I can recommend because it is a good vehicle, and is the Object 252U if the Object 252U was actually still good. So basically it has gun depression, which makes it a lot more usable in the long run, and also on every part of every map you can use it a lot better than something like an Object 252U. So it is the better option, and especially for 6.5k, that is just a good choice to pick up. It isn't quite as versatile as the T4A2, but it is still a great choice to have, so I can highly recommend that vehicle. And the Skoda T45 was given away for free some time ago, so buying it is dumb. And is also a tier 7, so it has collector value only, and at that, not much, because even though it is quite good, it is just a generic heavy tank.